I welcome everyone for this video lecture. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss about database management system. In database management system, we are going to see what is the concept of database, why we go for database, and what is or why we are using a database in online application. Then characteristics of database. Then what are the advantages of using a database, and what are the applications database management system can be done. So before going to the advantages and characteristics of application, we want to know what is main database. That is definition of database. So database is a collection of related data. That is similar data. Database systems are designed to manage large bodies of information. When the information is coming larger, it means day by day the YouTube users are increasing. So the data in the YouTube should be managed. Likewise, all the websites day by day there is an increase in data. So all the data should be in a managed process. That it should be we should arrange the data in a similar way. To manage the large bodies of information, we need a database. The database system must ensure safety of information stores and prevents unauthorized access. These are the two important things that should be in a database. If you are creating a database, it should be a safety. The information stored in the database should be safety. Whenever you want, you have to retrieve the information, and it should be preventing the data from the unauthorized access. So it's only the authorized person can access the data and retrieve the data and manage the data and store the data. Next we go for definition of database management system. Already we have seen what is main definition of database. Then we go for the definition of database management system. The definition of database management system is a collection of interrelated data and set of programs to access the data. So it has some set of programs which will be useful to access that interrelated data. The DBMS is a general purpose software system. We call the database system as a DBMS. That facilitates the process of defining a database, constructing a database, and manipulating into something is we will be working in the database and sharing the databases among the various users and applications. The primary goal of DBMS is to provide a way to store and retrieve the data. That is the main advantage of database. We can easily store, and whenever you want, we can easily retrieve the database information in a convenient and efficient manner. It produces a secure and survivable medium for storing the data. Examples of DBMS. So where we will be using a DBMS, using a MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, Microsoft Access. So database system environment. This is a system environment we call as. It is subdivided into two. You can see database systems and database software. So user and the programmer will only work on the application programs and write a query. And next to it, software. It is nothing but a software to process the query. So we will be user will write a query. The query should process in a database. So that is the software that can be done with done we have in this previous site, that is MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, and Microsoft Access. So the software to access the stored data, where we have stored the data in the form of two fields, that is stored database and stored database definition, that is metadata. The data in the data is called as a metadata. So this is an simplified database system environment. How the database can be stored and how we will be retrieving the data and how you will be storing the data and how you will be accessing the data. That is, you can discuss in this point. That is, DBMS is a general purpose software system that facilitates the process of defining, constructing, manipulating, and sharing the database among various applications. This can be seen very clearly in this picture. Simplified database system environment. With this environment, we can use all the DBMS functions. So where we are going to use the database? Applications can be used in bankings, which has a large information of data, where there will be an n number of customers. The customers will be increasing day by day. Whereas a university, each and every year they will be getting an admission. Online retailer, everyone will be purchasing. Credit card transaction, in a month you will be doing various number of credit card transactions. Finance sector, telecommunication, research, human resources, sales and accounting, airlines, railway, manufacturing industries. So these are all the applications, that is, each and every day there will be a data to be stored and there will be a data to be retrieved. So these type of application is called as a data application belongs to database systems. So now we are going to compare the file processing system and the database system. That is, before the database system, there will be a file processing system. So why we are using a database system is there will be some disadvantage in the file process. That is called as redundancy and inconsistency. Redundancy in the same of repetition of data. Inconsistency, when we are retrieving, it is a inconsistency because there is a repetition. Difficulty in accessing a data. There will not be a proper software to access the data. Data isolation, integrity problem, atomicity problem, concurrent access anomalies, and security problems. Where in the file system we don't have some set of software for storing and retrieving. So there will be several problems. So these are the disadvantages of file system. With the disadvantages, we will be moving forward for the database management system. Whereas some of the advantages of file system can be discussed, it is very simple, well-defined database application that are not expected to change at all. That is, it cannot be changed. So we can store the data and it cannot be changed moreover. Embedded system with limited storage capacity, no multi-user access to data is required. There is no multi-user, only a single user can access the data. Where in the database, we can have a multi-user, but the user should be an authorized user. We have to specify that the multi-user user is an authorized user. Only unauthorized can be prevented in database management system. Next we go for advantages of database approach, that is controlling redundancy, that is a repetition can be controlled. Restricting unauthorized, we should access each and every one. Providing persistent storage for program objects and data structures. We will be giving each and every storage for an objects and database structures, how we are going to store the data. Providing multiple user interfaces, where we will be giving an access for various users or programmers to access the data, and they can use some set of operation what they needed. Representing the complex relationship among the data. So we will be relating all the data. The data is not to be stored in some place. We will be relating data 1 to data 2, and we will be relating the data. So there will be an easy withdrawal from the data. Enforcing the integrity constraints. We will be having each and every constraint for all the data. Providing backup and recovery. Backup facilities and recovery facilities also available in database management system. There will be some set of disadvantages in the database management system in the view of investment, because while we are doing all the operations like constructing a database, or maintaining a database, and designing a database, there will be an initial investment in hardware, software, and training. Once the investment is done, no need to go for a future investment. So there will be a high initial investment. The how much of data we are going to use. So we will be having some certain plan. For that plan, we will be purchasing a hardware, software, and some training should be given for set of managing the data. The generality that the DBMS provides for defining and processing the data. Overhead for providing security, concurrency control, and recovery and integrity functions are the disadvantages of database systems. So next we go for the characteristics of database. How the characteristics of database can be categorized into a self-describing nature of database system. The database system not only contains the database but also complete definition and description of database structure and constraints. The definition is stored in the database catalog. So we will be using a new term called database catalog, where how you are going to define the data, how the structure should be, what are the constraints you are going to use in the database, you will be having in a database catalog. Catalog is nothing but an information related to handle the database. The information stored in the catalog is called metadata. That is the data in the data is called a metadata. This separates the data and description of the database. So the metadata will be divided into data as well as the description part. How we are going to describe that database. In traditional file processing, the data definition is a part of application program themselves. So where in the traditional we have a data definition as a part of application. Now we are divided into a separate data and a description of database. So next one is a insulation between the program data and data abstraction. So we will be having some connection between the program and data, programmed data as well as the data abstraction. In DBMS, the structure of data files is stored in a DBMS catalog separately from the access programs. In file, the structure of data is embedded in an application program that accesses that file. So, any changes to the structure of file may require changing all the programs that access that file. Whereas in program operation independence, user application programs can operate on the data by invoking this operation through their names and arguments. regardless of how much operations are implemented. This may be termed as program operation independence. The characteristics that allows the program data independence and data operation independence is called as data abstraction. So we call the data abstraction in the form of two words. In the combination of two words, that is program data independence as well as data operation independence.